Welcome to Papa's Workshop. In today's video, I want to show you how I installed this brand new table saw guard and dust collection system by Penn State Industries. Now this is not a sponsored video. I did my own research, looked at a lot of different ones, and I ended up choosing this one to be able to put into my shop. And I purchased this and it was shipped to me in just literally a matter of days. And today I want to be able to show you how I installed it and made a few modifications to be able to have it fit on the ceiling the way that I wanted it to. So let's get started.
I want to thank all of my Patreons for participating and joining the Patreon family. Your support is invaluable to me and it really helps to support this channel. And if you would like to be able to be part of the Patreon family, please go to patreon.com/papasworkshop. Now this comes very well packaged in a very thick cardboard box because this dust collection system is very heavy. It actually surprised me just how heavy it was. Opening up the box and laying out everything that comes with it, you will see that it's designed to be able to be mounted both to the floor or, if you prefer, to be able to mount it to the ceiling. I chose to be able to mount it to the ceiling. So this big long red bar I don't need from the installation that I did. It does come with a very complete system, but it does have some brackets that you're going to need that does not come with it. One of the things that I want to point out is give you a close-up. This is a very heavy gauge steel. I'm not sure the gauge, I don't know how to tell that, but this is certainly not a lightweight unit. The other thing is that its components are welded together, and granted that's a tack weld, but it's all that's necessary. The nuts that are on here, again, they are tack welded, which is fairly common for this type of construction. I had looked at quite a few different table saw guards and dust collection systems, and when I chose this one, I'd had no idea that it was going to be as heavy as it was, so it really surprised me. As far as the location, I picked a spot on the ceiling that I thought would work, and I went ahead and put this wood up there to be able to support it. And that would have required using that long red bar. And I said, well, maybe between these pipes, I can fit it into this other area. So I moved this plywood between the pipes and that light fixture to be able to mount it. And sure enough, I was able to fit it in there, and I used some heavy-duty screws to be able to mount this bar to the ceiling. And now that is directly over the table saw exactly where it needs to be. I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to do this. Now this little T connection just slides right onto the end, and I can temporarily align it where I think it's going to need to be, and then I'm just going to go ahead and tighten this down. From there, this small component will slide into this. Now this T connection is designed to be, according to the instructions, 19 inches above the surface of the table saw. This pipe did not need to be adjusted that came down from the ceiling, which means they had planned for an 8-foot ceiling. Good thing, because if I had a ceiling that was of a different height, I would have had to make a serious adjustment, but that was not necessary. This red bar now is in place, and I can go ahead and put the table saw guard onto this, and it just slips right onto the end of it. And then from there, I can temporarily go ahead and tighten it down. I can do the final adjustments a little bit later on. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and put the counterweight in. And again, this is designed to be able to have it where you can raise and lower the guard and actually have it positioned, and it'll stay right where you want it. So this is going to be something that I'll play with as time goes along, but at least at this point, I'm going to get it close to where it needs to be. It's time to go ahead and connect a hose that they provide, and it also comes with the clamp. So this hose clamp will just slide right over into this position, and then I can just go ahead and tighten it down. Nothing hard about this at all. From there, I'm just going to go ahead and connect the other end to the dust guard itself and tighten it down as well. and that is how it looks when it's completed. I have to connect the other end now to the dust collection. Now it has this adapter that will slip right on, and this is made to be able to accommodate the 4-inch hose. Temporarily, I'm going to go ahead and use my 4-inch hose from my dust collecting system and just temporarily put it on. Now this will be for the test today, but later on what I'm going to do is just go ahead and have this suspended from the ceiling and connect to another outlet. So this, don't get surprised, yes it does hang down to the floor, but it's just temporary. Now it has a little handle that is nice, but this is something that's actually not really necessary. But since I have it and they provided it in the kit, I'm going to go ahead and install this little handle on the front of the guard. On the back of the guard, it comes with 2 pieces. Now this is a full shield that goes onto the rear. There's also a half shield. I'm choosing to go ahead and put this full shield on to be able to maximize the dust collection possibilities. And it just takes 1 small screw and a nut that is provided, and of course it has the lock washer on there also. And again, this is very easy to be able to install. I'm just using a screwdriver to tighten it, and that's really all that was necessary. The biggest thing is I don't want to over tighten it for fear that I may break the acrylic. It's time now to go ahead and put the guard back onto this T-track. There's 2 attachment points. The nut on the front there that I'm loosening, and then on the black bar that comes down, there is another nut that is welded on. So this slides in, I can tighten it down, and this is a nice adjustment that I can move back and forward. Right now I have it centered over the blade, so I can just move this up and down, and that covers the blade. So let's do a real quick test. With the saw on, the dust collection on, and it is picking up all of the sawdust. I would venture to say it's picking up probably 90% or better of all the sawdust. So this is my first little test that I wanted to be able to show you, but more importantly, let's take a look at this. I grabbed a whole bunch of sawdust, and look how effective this is. As I shove it in, it is being sucked right up by this dust collection system. I really can't ask for anything better than this. And this is something that I have been wanting to do for quite some time, and to be able to improve the dust control in the shop. This completes pretty much every tool now in the shop has some form of dust collection, and that was the goal. I need to be able to make some little L brackets. Now granted, I could go to the store and buy them, but what's the fun in that? I just had this strap, and I went ahead and cut it down to the length that I need and made my own little L brackets. That's a lot better than having to stop and run to the store to be able to pick up some little L brackets, and this will work just fine to be able to hold the turnbuckles. This is something that wasn't provided, but you can see how it's installed there. That first little L bracket was attached, and it's going to go right up there on the ceiling. So let me go ahead and finish up these other little L brackets, and we'll get them installed. Unfortunately, this is part that was not included in the kit. I think probably 90% of the people out there are probably going to mount this thing to the floor, but no, not me. I want to be able to get it to the ceiling. But these L brackets were the perfect item that I needed to be able to install it, and it really didn't cost anything at all because I already had the metal strap. And that just screwed right into position, and the other one on the other side, I had to add yet a little board to the ceiling. And that was easy enough to be able to line it up to be able to have this turnbuckle just about into the center. So with just a little bit of effort, I wanted to be able to have it as close to square as I possibly could, and then I can go ahead and mark it because I know I'm going to be moving it. Yeah, I think I need a third hand to be able to get this in without moving it, but those little pencil lines did exactly what I needed them to do. So that way I could be able to put this board up there exactly where it needs to be, and it's still square to the ceiling joist. So after screwing it in, I'm going to grab that little bracket again with the turnbuckle, push it right up where it needs to be, and screw it into its final position. Now these turnbuckles can go ahead and be tightened so it will hold and keep this vertical bar stable. This is a very simple but yet very effective design. I don't want that vertical bar to move. So if you look at this now, you can see my two turnbuckles in position. You can also see the vertical bar. Everything is attached now and it's rock solid. It's not going to move. So I'm real happy with this installation, and I'm looking forward to many different projects that I can use with this new table saw guard and dust collection system. There's a few things that I like to be able to point out. These little brackets that I made were not part of the kit, but again, it was a very simple project to be able to do to make it work, and I needed 3 of them. The bracket, the black bracket there, was actually welded on, so that was good. Now this plate right here that the bracket actually is screwed to is made out of the acrylic. And I'm a little bit concerned as to how this is going to hold up over time. If this does begin to crack, I'm going to go ahead and replace this probably with an aluminum bar to be able to hold it, because this is going to have a lot of movement over time, and I'm very concerned about that. But we'll see. If that becomes an issue, then I'll do an update and show you how I repaired this. But for now, I'm going to leave it in place and see how it holds up. The other nice thing, should I need to remove this and be able to cut without having this guard in place, all I really need to be able to do is loosen this one screw right here and either remove this completely or just turn it and rotate it 90 degrees to be able to get out of the way. You do have an adjustment screw down here where you can loosen this screw and pull this out or push it in, whatever's necessary, to be able to have this guard positioned over the blade the way that you want it. You do have the counterbalance weight at the rear, and that makes it where you can literally lift this very easily and it will stay wherever you put it. And that too is a nice feature. Now this hose I find to be rather stiff. I would much prefer that to be a little bit more flexible, but it is working. So it's going to be the hose for now. We'll see if I change that in the future. I also have the 4-inch line connected here to my dust collection system, and it's very effective. I am going to be making another sleeve to be able to fit onto here, to be able to put on my shop vac. The bracing is actually very rigid. If I try to move this, it really doesn't move in any direction, and that is absolutely fantastic. And since it has the turnbuckles, should I need to be able to tighten it, I certainly can do that in the future. Thank you for watching the video today, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next project, whatever that may be, and certainly I'll be using this.